Okay, so it's 2 p.m. and I think that we should start on time. Okay, welcome back. And in the morning session, we have already learned the basic terms of talent acquisition. We learned about the HR planning, the job analysis, the talent acquisition. We have analyzed the 4B talent acquisition approaches, including build, bridge, buy, and borrow. And we have get familiar with the terms employer branding. So in the afternoon session, we will deep dive in this particular function, talent acquisition. So as you may know, in the context of talent acquisition and the 4B model we discussed earlier, as talent market grows more competitively, salary alone may be not enough to attract top candidate as an attractive employee value proposition, or we say EVP, becomes crucial. So EVPs are an essential part of a company total reward strategy based on an implicit psychological contract between employers and employees. So the EVP highlight what a company uniquely offers to draw in candidates, making it a critical component of an employer branding. So recognizing which rewards are essential for competitiveness and which can set a company apart is a key to crafting an EVP that truly resonates with potential candidates. So the EVP can be compared to Maslow hierarchy of needs, where compensation and benefit forms the foundation. So without this base, higher level aspiration like career growth or personal well-being can't be fully realized. So attracting new talent is challenging without competitive rewards, but that's just the beginning. So the employees today also look for flexibility, career development, purposeful work, and a sense of pride in their employer. So recall the moment when you opted to accept an offer from your company. My question is that what were the primary reasons behind your decision to choose to work for this company over others? Could you please share your experience? Um, Tell me about your experience, Miss Olajolo.
Oh, hi, good afternoon. Okay, so my experience in choosing why I wanted to work at a particular place of work was one, the offer I was given was not just based on the salary, but also the experience I got to learn. Also, what how will I put it, the training that the company was offering at that time was different from what I learned. So it was how will I put it was appealing to me to wanting to learn something new. So that was why I went with the company I worked with.
Okay, thank you so much for your sharing. So, I heard that in addition to the salary, the learning opportunities was the reason why you wanted to work for this particular company.
Yes.
Yeah, but my question is that will your decision change over time? That means that in that situation you decided based on the salary and the learning opportunities, but now at the present, the priority may be changed. So will your decision change also?
No, because there's a constant learning in what I'm doing, like constant training every single like three months. There's like new training every 3 months. So it's refreshing me into more opportunities. So I get to learn like how will I put it? during my work, I got to learn a little about data analysis. I'm
Ah,
an accountant, so it was like really, really interesting. Where okay, my employer was willing to train us on skills that could help us in our next job opportunity.
mm,
So
mm.
yes, basically that is why I'm still here.
Oh, yeah. So, just imagine that you got two offers from two companies. Yeah. So, the first one offer you a very high salary range, but the work may be a bit stressful and there were no learning opportunity at all. Yeah. But the second companies offer you the average salary, but they promise that you will have rooms for development. You will have um, a lot of learning opportunity both from the training classes, but also from your line managers. So what will be your decision in that case?
Okay, so I'll go for the second company because personally, I know the kind of person I am. If I get overwhelmed by a particular job, I tend to zone out. But if the job is giving me different opportunities, like having to work as a project manager, work as a data analyst, like different variety, I get to be interested more. So if it's just one single thing doing over and over, I get bored. So I will go for a company giving me varieties, more opportunity to explore different work phase of life. Yes.
Yeah. So just one more follow-up questions. Yeah, I got your idea. So you focus a lot on the learning opportunity, on the career development opportunities. But just imagine that uh maybe you are at the 40 age, yeah, and you have your family to take care of, and the salary offer in the second company may be not as high as you expected, and maybe it cannot enough it can it's not enough for you to pay for uh the living costs for both yourself and your family. Will your decision change also in that case?
Okay, it depends. It depends. There are like two factors. One, it depends on who my spouse is. Is my spouse able to hold forth the whole family while I explore opportunities? Or
Mm-hmm.
is it a 50-50 situation? Then if it's a 50-50 situation, then I would have to go for the higher salary.
Okay, thank you so much for your sharing, Miss Ola Jolo. Okay, so I see we have another new student, Mr. or Miss Naylin Ted. Okay, so please turn on your mic, turn on your camera, and introduce yourself briefly to the class, please.
Sorry, sorry, I'm late here. I'm trying in the morning class and it's also late.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so how can I call your name correctly?
My name is Nilin Tat. You can call me Skid. I'm say about right beside my name, right in there. You can call me Skid. It's my nickname. Um,
Okay.
I'm from Myanmar and I'm trying this session from now I'm in Vietnam, so
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Uh,
What is your occupation?
no, I'm a student. I have not joined yet. But I'm when I finish my bachelor, I have internship with the new with I'm internship finished at my school.
Ah, okay. So you have just graduated and you have already experienced internship time, yeah?
Yeah. Internship. Like as a assistant teacher to the advise of the student for their assignments and their planning for what they do and what should they do in their uh, project. Sometimes I get advice their personal career.
Mm, mm. So, what is your learning expectation for this course?
Most I want to know more about the human resource, like for my career. So I'm here.
Okay, okay. So I understand that you do not have much experience, much work
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, yeah. I finished my bachelor at 2024 at October. So not much yet
Yeah, yeah,
experience
yeah,
working place.
yeah, it's okay. Yeah. I understand that you do not have much work experience, but pretending that you um apply for a specific company and you want to get a job for a
Yeah.
living. So the question is, which influencing factors um do you choose to make a decision to choose to work for the specific company? Which influencing factors?
Like
Will you take the job based on salary, based on the career opportunities like Miss Olajolo has already
like
mentioned?
I would choose the my career like my hobby and my career is matched with something. So I'm interested in Asia because I'm like to manage the uh like I said what I want to manage about the people employee to what should they do and at the where they need to do, and so yes I'm what like an human resource management manager like that way.
Okay, so thank you so much, and I look forward to your opinion in our upcoming section. So please try your best. Okay,
Yeah, okay. Thank
thank
you.
you so much. Yeah.
Sorry about the camera. I'm right now in my bedroom.
Okay, okay. So maybe next time I can see you.
Yeah, but I'm wearing my pajama, so like yeah, I'm wearing open it.
Okay, okay.
Hi. You can see me?
Ah, yeah, so
Hi.
handsome. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, try your best. And if you need any assistance, just feel free to reach me via email because you joined the class just 1 week before, after the beginning. So try your best to catch up with the other teammate, classmate.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Mm. Okay. So, Mr. Ming, tell me about your experience.
Uh,
Mm.
I work as a solar installation engineer for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the primary decision and I choose for this company is this company in my country this company is different from others.
Uh-huh.
They use different kind of embedded brands. Those are mostly used in Europe. I want to keep on with this kind of embedders. Um, I think the quality is better than and the China products. So I choose uh the first thing in the the first thing is I choose for because their product user is very good, and and in this company, some of the senior engineer are very well known in social medias. They have really good experience. So I want to learn from them. That's why I choose this company.
Yeah, there are some
Yeah.
factors you share, influencing your decision to apply to this company and choose to work for that. Like the business, the reputation, and also um, the learning opportunities. But
Yes.
how long have you been in that company? 2 years?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. But
Yeah. Yes.
are you still working for that company
Mm,
right now, or
no, I already quit from my job. And I'm trying to get a new job.
ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I would like to know more about your motivation. I understand the motivation to join the company from your previous sharing, but now what was the motivation to leave this company?
Yeah, motivation. This company is have a lot of. I have gained a lot of experience in this companies, and it's a bit difficult to get a higher position in this company because senior engineers didn't want to leave from this company, so they can't get me the higher position, so I decided to leave, and I believe in myself in some other company I could perform as a higher position. That's why I leave and yeah, I have been searching for a new job, and I have been reading a lot of job description in LinkedIn and like Glassdoor. Yeah.
Okay, so the motivation for leaving this company is the promotion opportunity, and you see no opportunity for promotion within the company. That's why you
Yeah.
opt for another way to climb up your career ladder. Okay, yeah, and looking back on your previous experience, what benefit or what benefit or what benefit do you think you receive from that company and you still appreciate until this time?
As a solar engineer, I have to sometimes I have to communicate with some customer for the sub maintenance and service. Why when battery for example when battery is running out, or that's kind of thing, I have to explain why it's happened. So I think I have gained with communication with the customer, and sometimes I had to manage the labor to perform on the daily tasks. Yeah, I think I have gained a little bit in minimal scale and communicating with people. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your informative sharing. Really appreciate. It's very clear that you understand what do you expect from the company, both from joining and leaving the company, and the clear purpose will be beneficial to your plan, your personal plans, and you will be able to make a good decision. Thank you so much, Mr. Ming.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mr. Elias, tell me about your experience as an English instructor. I think that you had
Yeah.
joined a lot of job application process. So tell me about the decision to apply for the English instructor position, and what were the primary reason behind your choice?
So, as an English instructor, I have to apply for my job from the website from the first. That education centers is really like alignment with my professional goals.
Alignment with your personal goal. Oh,
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
because I love to share my knowledge,
Ah.
and yeah, because I don't know, I just feel like I really like English, Eli, so that's why I would like to open my mind and share my knowledge to my learners. Yeah, so I apply to that education center in my country. So so I got it. I got the position that I wanted,
and it's like the organization's goals that I wanted. It's really in there, like the opportunity I really wanted when I start engaging with the students.
Mm,
Like I said before, I have to engage with a lot of students because they have different mindsets, and
yeah.
yeah, so they offer excellent career growth from my prospects,
Uh-huh.
and it's really supportive work culture, and it's clear vision for my future.
Wow.
But after COVID, I want to observe more and improve my education side. So I started to join this course, and
Yeah.
yeah, and also like I love English and I love to be an English instructor. However, I want to improve my another opportunity for my
Uh-huh.
upcoming jobs. Yeah, I would like to improve more. So I am particularly interested in contributing to meaningful from my from that education center, and I have a collaboration with a dynamic team to make a real impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Elias, a dedicated teacher, right? I can feel your interest in continuous learning, and it is very important when it comes to the teaching opportunities, especially
Yeah.
for the young generation. And I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Miss Elias.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So from the sharing of Miss Olajolo, Mr. Ming, Mr. Elias, I think that we can realize that we are all different in our expectation, and we make decision based on our priority and the expectation given that time. So you see that let's use the sharing from our classmate as the foundation for further discussion about the EVP. So you can see that in the EVP pyramid, there are 3 levels of outcome: competitive, differentiated, and unique. This framework serves as an investment model that the company can use to prioritize how they allocate reward spending. While all elements should be considered, enterprises may choose to focus on certain areas that better align with their business and people strategies. Firstly, contractual rewards such as compensation and benefit, which you get familiar with the term salary. The contractual rewards forms the foundation of the employment relationship, representing the direct financial reward employees receive from their contribution. So offering an attractive package can give companies a competitive edge in the talent market. Secondly, experiential rewards reflect how employees experience their workplace, both professionally and personally. These rewards include career development, opportunities, flexibility, and support for physical, financial, emotional, and social well-being. The companies that focus on experiential rewards differentiate themselves from their competitors. And you can see that from the sharing of Ms. Olajolo and Mr. Skid and Mr. Ming. The career opportunities, the learning opportunities are influencing factors for them to make a decision. And for Mr. Ming,
Yeah.
he had, just for Mr. Ming, yeah, I just
Okay.
mentioned that you share that the promotion opportunities was the reason why you leave the company. So maybe I think that this is the coincidence that you join the company because of the reputation, because of the learning opportunity. But after experiencing the companies for 2.5 years, you realize that you do not have much opportunity to be promoted, to climb up the career ladder. So this is the experiential rewards is the reason you join, but it is also the reason you leave the company. So yeah, we change. You had changed, and there are so many factors affecting our decision. So from the company's perspective, they need to understand the motivation of their employees and adjust their people strategy as well as the total reward programs accordingly. And finally, the emotional rewards. Emotional rewards are the unique, deeper connection employees forms with the company. These stem from aligning individuals with the company's broader purpose or creating rooms that give them a sense of fulfillment and meaning. So from the sharing of Mr. Elias, you can see that the reason he opted to work as an English instructor is his interest of continuous learning, or the interest in sharing his knowledge to young generation. So there is a clear alignment between his ability, his characteristic, his personality, his aspiration, his personal goal with the characteristic of his job. And if the company can make such alignment between its employee and the job given to them, this company will be able to attract large numbers of potential employees and keep them engaged and loyal. Okay, so again, recall our exploration of the 4B, talent acquisition strategy, featuring internal facing strategies like build and bridge, along with external approaches such as buy and borrow. So considering the introduced reward categories, contractual, which related to the salary, the income that you receive from the company, the experiential reward, which related to the career development opportunities, the financial, social, and additional support for your self-development, learning opportunity, and emotional reward, the alignment between the company objective and the personal goals. So which ones do you anticipate enterprises emphasizing based on the strategies they adopt? For example, if the company choose the strategies of the buying strategy, what kind of reward categories that they will utilize in their total rewards package? So what is your opinion, Mr. Sino? Mr. Sino, are you there?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so please share your experience, share your opinion about this question.
Yeah, which one do you anticipate?
So, for example, if a company use the buy talent acquisition approach, what kinds of reward categories that they will utilize in their remuneration offer? Contractual, experiential, or emotional?
For the buy approach.
For the buy approach.
Yeah, I'll go with the experiential reward.
Why? What do you think so?
Yeah, because for the buy approach, I feel they'll need people to buy from them, and they're actually selling a product, and they need to understand the customers. They need to, because and in market now there are a lot of people selling that same product. So they need to identify their selling point. They need to identify their unique selling point in order to get sales, because the main goals of every company is to get profit. So in order for them to set out their unique selling point, to convince people to convince people to buy from them, that means they need to gather a lot of experience, like try to experiment, like, okay, what are these people lacking? How can we beat these people in this market? And what they need to look at other people flaws and that. So I think it will be experimental. Yeah.
Yeah. So put it simply, using the buy approach, meaning you hire external candidate, you hunt people from other company to join your company. So yes, I agree with you that experiential reward is important in that case. But do you think the contractual rewards is important also?
The contractual reward.
Yeah, the contractual rewards is related to the financial package that you can receive from the company, including the salary and all the benefits for assuming that role. So do you think that is significant factors influencing the decision?
Yeah, the contractual reward, I think it is. Yeah, you can use the contractual reward also, because if they are hiring people from another country to work with them, and they know that, okay, yeah, and then they know after everything they are getting like a cut or a percentage. Yeah, I think it can work also.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Sino, for your sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Emmanuel, what is your opinion? Yeah, please go ahead. Sorry, Mr.
my own
Emmanuel, I
Emmanuel.
cannot hear you.
My own Emmanuel.
I think that you need to test your mic again, Mr. Emmanuel. There's no signal from you.
Can you hear me now?
Ah, yes. Oh, no. Okay, now I can hear. Okay. Yeah. Not here now. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, considering introduce reward categories, right? So I think it's all going to base on the strategy that the company adopts, right? For me, let me say, okay, for instance, I'm considering a startup now, right? Yeah, so for me, considering a startup, I would leverage on building, on using the build model and then the bridge model, because I need to, since it's a startup, I would have to be careful, train the talents I've already absorbed and adopted. Then, unless there is need for me to scale up, if I'm scaling up, then I will have to go with the buy and the borrow, which is the contractual and the experiential. If I'm scaling up, because most times, maybe your company, based on your values, productivity, or the fast-paced, if your niche or your startup is in a fast-paced economy, doing well, thriving, you attract investors. So if you attract investors, then the need for upscaling is sacrosanct. It's very, very important. Maybe moving from Nigeria as a branch to Vietnam. So for me to leverage on the digitalization of Vietnam, I would have to do the contractual and experiential aspect, so as not to reduce in productivity or not to jeopardize the brand or the trust I have with my stakeholders or investors. So it all works depending on the scalability form. So if it's a startup and a company that is still in funds, then we would apply the emotional strategy. But if you must scale up, if you don't want to lose your investors, if you want to still be at the top of your game, then you go for contractual or experiential.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. And Mr. Danny, I see your message, so please share your opinion. Attractive salary. Sharing your opinion on that point.
Okay. Please can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. When we use the model like the buy model, this is where the company will focus on acquiring top talent from external markets to fill maybe immediate jobs or immediate needs the company wants. So with this one, the company will focus on using the contractual reward, where they have to pay attractive salaries to new top talent from the market, because they still want to sustain their business. And another way to get people to get the top talent, they need to give out attractive salary. With that one, when someone compares the price or the salary he or she is receiving in one company and what you are willing to offer, that person will rather choose to come to your company to come and work. And they also sign on maybe one-time bonus or incentive for you to join the company, so with a contractual reward, they are trying to offer the talents in the market with a very high salary, so that they can pull them into their company for their company to progress very well.
Yeah, thank you so much for your great idea. Okay, so contractual reward can be a good starting point to attract the candidate, but the experiential and emotional rewards will help the company to differentiate from other competitors in hiring top talents and also engage the top performers within the companies. Thank you so much, Mr. Danny, for your sharing. And Mr. Francis, from your sharing in the morning section, I remember that you have shared that you have worked for the Ministry or Army for 13 years. It's not a short time compared to the average employment time for the current employees. So my question is that among the contractual, experiential, and emotional rewards, which factors influence your decision to stay for your job for such a long time?
It's based on military, my military time. Is it that's the question? Okay, so okay, then if that's the case, I think it will be, because I'm just fresh from school, I would think it's more on emotional reward. Yeah, because military, I say Ministry of Defense is a very, how do you say, it's a very big, organization. The whole army of Singapore is definitely big. Maybe the whole army of Vietnam is also very big. They are always having strategy, long-term strategy. So I think strong culture will be very important to bring me to stay loyal for this ministry. And I think purpose-driven is also very important. So I think emotional reward will be very important during my time in the army. So I think that's how I see it. And I'm still very, very young at the time. I was just like fresh, 20 years old, young adult. So yeah, so I think emotional, having guidance, having some example to learn, having someone to guide me, I think that is very important. Emotional will definitely play a very big part. And based on the 4B model, then if refer to the army, the Ministry of Army organization, I think build strategy will be based on emotional. Yeah.
So emotional reward is not is the key to not only attract top candidates, but also keep them loyal and engaged for such a long time.
Yes,
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy to build such emotional rewards. So from your experience, what are some ways to build up the emotional rewards?
Okay, if based on the Ministry of Army is simple because it's very strong culture. Every one of us want to protect our country. Even in Vietnam, we want to protect our country. If there's a political issue, all the Vietnamese will stand together and be patriotic. That's for the big organization like Army. But for company, I would think culture is very important. How you set up, because the culture is not only give you a vision, or mission is how we start it off. I think the most important thing is how you want to see yourself in 10 years and 15 years. That's vision. So the culture of the company will definitely set forth what kind of mental model that you want your employee to have in order to, you know, stick together and then work together to emphasize on the long-term strategy goal of the company. So I think culture is very important, especially when we talk about what do you call that, emotional reward. Yes.
Yeah, totally agree. Culture is the key. Yeah, but culture is another big term. We all talk about the culture, but it's not easy for the employee to feel the culture or what the board director or what the company want they to feel. So from your experience as working in the ministry, in what way that the Ministry of Defense help the employees to feel the culture that you have mentioned already? In what ways?
There are many ways. For if I use Ministry of Defense, it's very simple because every day, every morning we sing national anthem. That's
Yeah.
loyal to the country. You know,
Yeah.
we pledge, you know, we the citizens of Singapore. I mean, even Vietnam will have their own pledge. You know, when we stand there in front with the flag there, we are all patriotic. We want to serve the government. We want to make sure that our countries are protected. And if we know about the geographic history about Singapore, Singapore is very small, and then we are surrounded by all, sorry, I shouldn't talk about politics now, surrounded by all Muslim country. But I'm not saying I'm not anti-Muslim. I have a lot of Muslim friends. But what I'm trying to say that Singapore at that time was saturated or isolated in one area, and surrounding us, Malaysia, Indonesia, you know, Brunei and everything. So we are all surrounded by Islamic. I'm not saying Islamic is no good, sorry, but that was the political reason. So when it's easy for a young man like me previously stand there when the leader, the officer will come in and, you know, tell us we need to be patriotic, we need to serve the government. If not, your family will be affected. Any one of us can overrun us and then conquer us, and then, you know, it also bring back to the war. I mean, during World War II, how Japan, you know, travel from China all the way down to Singapore by bicycle to overcome Singapore, to take over Singapore, is because we don't have an army. So when Singapore built an army in 1965, I believe so, if I get my history correct, they will always emphasize on, you see, this is how our ancestor who built this army. So we need to, you know, follow through whatever has been done by our military people, and then we carry on. So it's always the emotional that bond that we have. We feel that, you know, previously, because during World War, we don't have an army. That's why we are overrun by the Japan, you know. And then now, because we are surrounded by Islamic country, we always feel our threat. So it's easy for us as young men that time, when we hold our gun, we want to protect our country, protect our family, and protect our loved one. So it's easy when in the army. But when we are put it into company, that will be different. Who will die for the company if I don't get enough pay? I mean, yeah, that's you know, we need to be sensible. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for your sincere sharing. I think that your experience is very unique, and not so many of us can have such an experience like this. So yeah,
I'm old.
so you have shared the way that the Ministry of Defense build up the culture, the spirit among the employees about the culture. But now speaking of the corporate context, so drawing from your experience working in the Ministry of Defense, imagine that you are a board of directors or anyone who is in charge of the culture programs or the culture building initiative. So which way do you think you will propose or implement to enhance the spirit or help everybody to feel the culture that you want to build up?
Okay, okay. So based on my experience, I believe my perception of having a strong culture in a company. I always think leadership is very, very important. Maybe
Yeah.
it's not only because I'm from the army. I believe leadership, apart from, I know that, we have this pyramid that we need to get paid, we need to have salary, we need to have allowance, we need to have recognition. But there's always something that if there's a band. For example, if you are just a young person who
Yeah.
just fresh graduate and come out to work, 20 to 30, I
Mhm.
believe there's a different stage in life, of 30 to 40 and then 40 to 50. We all of us have different stage and we find different purpose and meaning. I mean, when I'm 20 to 30, I want to find someone that I can follow, I can learn. Because I'm still young, you see. I'm still young. I want to learn. I want to make mistake. I want to, the world is for me to explore. So I want to find someone where can lead me, can actually lead me by example, that I can follow. And then hopefully I learn as much from this mentor, and then I set off from there. So I break down into this part. That maybe also can relate to the corporate. But if I'm someone who is 30 to 40, I already have a small family, or maybe my parents are very old. It's already depend on the needs. I would definitely think that recognition is one part, because I need to find a spouse. People always will look at me, what you are working at, the mother-in-law, the father-in-law, what's your work, your nature of your work, where do you work, recognition is also very important. So that's mean the company status is important, as well as do you have enough money. So 30 to 40 is that period where I want to have recognition. I want to make sure that I work in a good company, a good status. I want to make sure that I have enough money so that, my spouse, I can get a good spouse. My spouse can believe in me. So yeah, then after that, 40 to 50, probably I want to share my experience with. Yeah, I want to get someone that I can trust, that is loyal to me, and we have that bond. And I want to share whatever I had from 20 to 40 to this person, so that this person, when I see him, when I'm 60, this guy will be building on my legacy. So that's how I build. That's how I find meaning in any corporate world, or in an organization where discipline or Ministry of Defense that you're talking. I believe so. All of us, at different stage of life, we have different purpose, and it's always driven by different elements. So I think hopefully by then, it's very difficult to say that, I have a company culture, I put it on you, so everybody must follow me. But I don't think that will work. It's two-way. I also need to look at this individual. What is he really looking at, when he comes to join my company? Is he looking at to learn from me, to learn from the company? Or is he at this stage right now because he want recognition? He want to be in a company where is famous? Then okay, then yeah. Then all his experience, and then I'll bring him to share and teach the youngster. So I think that's what I want to say. I mean, yeah, most important is the work environment. So I just want to say, yeah, that's why my life experience.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thanks.
I think that you come up with many great and diverse ideas when it comes to building a culture. And yes, we are on the same page on leadership. Yeah, the role models that the employees look at and learn from them, and the consistency between what the company said and what the companies offer and what the leaders do in the practice reflect the culture of the company, and it makes the employees feel that they walk the talks, not talk the talks. And I think that it's a very essential element for any organization to consider when they want to build up the culture and sustain this culture for a long time. Thank you so
Right.
much for your informative sharing. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and now we will explore the concept of the EVB or the employee branding and how the company utilize this one to shape the talent acquisition strategies. Now, we will examine a real-world example, Marriott International Employee Branding B campaign. Well, I will start by playing a brief introductory video for your reference. And afterward, I will share a link in the chat with a detailed description of the campaign. So please watch the video first, read the case study, and then respond to the question displayed on the screen. Okay, so I will play the recording first. Class, can you hear it?
It got stuck.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay, okay. Just check the audio.
Wherever you want to go, whoever you want to be, you deserve a career that fulfills your purpose. You deserve to dream without limits. Be a part of something bigger than yourself. Join a team where everyone has a voice. Belong to a community where you are included. Be inspired by what's possible and discover your own future. Be challenged, grow, and achieve your ambition. At Marriott, be yourself. Begin your purpose. Belong to a global community and become the best version of you. At Marriott, be you.
Yes, it's just a short video recording for your reference, but to understand clearly about this program, I will send you a brief of a case study description. So please read it carefully and answer the question in the case study. So I will send it to you. Sorry. Okay. Okay, I have sent you a brief case study of the Marriott International B campaign. So please read it carefully and try to answer all the own questions in the case study. I have included some information regarding to the element of the EVP, so you can refer and answer the question. So we will have 10 minutes for this activity. So please read it carefully and complete this exercise by 5:3. Okay, so now please start. If you have any question, feel free to type your question in the chat box. I'm here. Okay. Okay, so time's up. Okay, so Mr. Tom, can you help me with the first element, the contractual rewards? So which information from the passage indicating that reward?
Hello,
Oh,
can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can you ask one more time?
Yeah, so the first element of the EBP, the contractual rewards. So which information from the passage indicating that the Marriott has offered the company the contractual rewards?
Yeah. The first element is gonna be like their purpose of connecting people through the power, traveling, and suppose as associated, and also they focus on begin and belong and become, and also to grow and offer innovative opportunity and to grow a personality.
Now, remember that the contractual rewards focus on the financial aspect that the employees can receive from its company. So, are there any information indicating the financial aspect?
Yeah.
Are there any information from the passage indicating that the contractual rewards were used to lie by the Marriott to offer to its employees?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Mr. Elias, can you help me with that?
Yeah, help me please, Elias.
Hello. Yes, number one question, right?
Yeah, the contractual rewards. Okay, so tell me about the contractual rewards that a Marriott used for their employees, its employees.
So contractual rewards is that Marriott offer accommodative pay, benefits, retirement, and saving plans, flexible scheduling, and travel discounts. These rewards provide employees with financial security and job stability, forming the foundation of the employment relationship.
Okay, so this is a contractual reward. And how about experiential rewards?
Okay, so the company emphasizes career development, flexibility, and well-being. It provides learning platforms, global well-being programs, and leadership development to help employees grow both professionally and personally. I think that's
Okay. So how about
emotional rewards.
emotional?
So Marriott foster a culture of inclusions, trust, and purpose-driven work. Those employees are given opportunities to contribute meaningfully, creating a sense of belonging and fulfillment in their roles.
Culture. Okay, we have the culture here.
Yes.
Yeah, culture. Okay. So what do you think about the approach of Marriott when they combine the contractual, the experiential, and also the emotional rewards? Do you have any comments for this approach?
For emotional rewards.
Yeah, I just want to have your evaluation on the approach that the Marriott used to attract and also engage their employees by combining the contractual, experiential, and the emotional rewards. What is your evaluation on this approach?
So Marriott emphasized on emotional rewards I think it's a strong strategy for fostering employee engagements and retention. By creating a sense of belonging, trust, and purpose. So the company enhance job satisfaction and strengthen for its employer brand. However, I think while emotional rewards contribute to a positive work culture, uh, their effectiveness depends on consistent implementations across all levels of the organization. If not reinforced with the clear career progressions and the programs, employee may still feel undervalued, you know. So I think therefore Marriott should ensure that it is emotional rewards align with employee expectations and also like contractual and experiential benefits for its holistic employee experience.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Elias, for your sharing. Yeah, it's very informative, and I really appreciate your evaluation as well as the suggestion for the Marriott approach. Thank you so much. This is a case study for the Marriott International, and as you can see that the Marriott employer branding strategy revolves around three distinct pillars: begin, become, belong, and become. So from both the video extract and the reading passage, it's clear that the Marriott places significant emphasis on experiential and emotional rewards, moving beyond purely contractual one. So by highlighting how employees can belong to a community and become the best version, the Marriott successfully differentiates itself as an employer that invests in holistic employee experience. Okay. So now we're back to our lecture. Okay. So now let's shift our focus on the two remaining components of talent acquisition: selection and positioning. This is a remaining component of the talent acquisition function that we have already analyzed the first aspect, the recruitment. Now, there are two common focuses on selection criteria. Person-job fit is a key indicator of job performance. It evaluates three interconnected components: ability fit, qualification fit, and experience fit, collectively known as the can-do dimension. Advances in computer automation and machine learning now allow the use of complex algorithm to calculate the higher level of match among candidates, making this process more precise and data-driven. The second aspect is person-organization fit. So as job becomes more dynamic, requiring teamwork, flexibility, creativity, and innovation, this fit gains importance. It focuses on aspects like motivational fit and culture fit, which are harder for machine to assess. So this highlights the irreplaceable value of human labor of the HR practitioner, especially in areas of social and emotional intelligence. So my question is that under what circumstances will the company prioritize person-organization fit over person-job fit? Okay, so the person-job fit, we look at the match between the candidate, the employees, with the job requirements. But for the person-organization fit, we look at the alignment between the personality, the characteristic of the person with the culture, of the organization. So under what circumstances will the company prioritize the person organization fit over the person job fit, in your opinion? So Mr. Tibozo, Emmanuel, what is your opinion?
Please, can I get the question once again?
Yeah, the question is on the screen. My question is that under what circumstances will the company prioritize the person organization fit and over the person job fit?
In my own opinion, I think the company might want to prioritize a person organization fit over a person job fit. When the JD, that's the job description, has to do with I think maybe when the role has to do with an all-encompassing task, maybe heading a department or heading task that has to do with the company overall, as against specific jobs that has to do with individuals performing specific tasks. When the job has to do with piloting general affairs, I think probably the company will have to disregard person job fit and go with person organization fit, so as to have someone who will drive the overall goal and direction of the company, yeah, in achieving the company's objectives. That's my own opinion.
Your mic is off.
Yeah, muted, Sophia.
Your mic is off. Your mic is off.
Uzo, your mic is off.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Emmanuel, I see that you raised your hand, so please share your opinion. Anything to share?
Yeah, sure. Just like this question could be likened to what we call a product-led organization, and then just a program-led organization. For product-led organization, as a product manager, product-led organization focus on the user benefits or user satisfaction, and then aligning it to what stakeholders want, and then how it would meet the business goals. So if I'm coming down to prioritizing person organization fit, it has to do with an individual that puts effort, like he or she owns the company, not like a chief executive officer or an owner to say, but someone who integrates the HR will consider an already existing employer that understands the culture of the organization.
Sorry, Mr.
Like,
Emmanuel.
there are people you would.
Sorry.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah. The connection is not stable, so sometimes I can hear you clearly, but sometimes your voice is so difficult to hear. So please, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear now.
Okay, yeah. So what I was saying is this: for you to prioritize a person organization fit over a person job fit, it comes handy when the company is focused on a very long time organizational culture, when the employer is putting up efforts to show that he or she is acting like an owner of the company, like that's what we call product or person ownership. Everything that revolves around the employer has to do with the entire business value you get. And if it's a long-term organization, then every HR will want to go for that person whose core values revolve around the business, the organization's tradition. So that because this will enhance employee retention and then the overall success of the company. Because me as an HR, I wouldn't go outside to employ somebody who is new to the system, who doesn't
Sorry,
know.
Mr. Emmanuel. Sorry, Mr. Emmanuel. Maybe your mic did not work properly.
Oh my God.
Yeah. At the very beginning, I can hear you well, but then the voice small.
Can
So
you
difficult to hear you.
is it clear now?
No, not clearly.
Okay. All right. So some other person should try.
Yeah. Maybe you can fix your mic and we come back later. Okay, so Mr. Samuel, anything to add?
Okay, as regards to this question, company will prioritize personal organizational fit over person job fit, because company will always go for someone who understands the culture of the company or who understands the main product they are offering. Someone that can show interest, someone that can take the business as its own, because the person knows the in and out of the business. He or she knows when the business, how they started and where they are going. Looking at person job fit has to do with the long objective or long-term goal of the company. So when you know the long-term goal of the company, you can be able to achieve it. But if you don't have the long-term goal, if you are new in the system, you can never do well. So the job description have to be kept aside, but to employ someone who has the culture, who understands the culture, who will understand the dynamism of the brand, to keep to it. You understand? So when before a company can over prioritize person organizational fit, they have seen that this individual is capable, has shown the interest, the willingness to work and to actualize the long objectives. So this is how I think they will prioritize personal organizational fit over person job fit. Also, when they check at the performance, individual performance matters a lot. Like when I thought about in our first class, I thought about KYC. Sorry, KPI. I thought about KPI. So when you check an employee KPI and see that this employee is performing, there's every tendency of retaining that employee no matter what, because he or she knows the core value. He or she knows the in and out of the company, and he or she will go extra mile to make sure that the aims and objectives of the company is achieved. So the market value, he or she knows it. He can go far and wide to bring in businesses. And another one, you can take a good look at strong organizational culture. A company, for example, company like Google will prioritize innovation and openness to focus on hiring talents that will help to push their products upwards. So in generally, personal job fit is essential because the individual has shown willingness to work, has shown interest, has passion for the job. Is what we call job satisfaction. when you get job satisfaction in what you are doing, because every job you do, you learn. So when a company chooses build model, they are ready to show emotional, what did we call it again? Emotional rewards, thereby train, build, and give some remunerations to their employee for them to be happy doing the work they are called for.
Yeah, yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for your clarification. I really love your example of Google and how they recruit the open-minded people for their long-term strategies. Yes, the focus on the person-organization fit may be may result from the long-term view, the long-term perspective, that we can realize the alignment between the organization culture and the individual the personal goal. And if there is a match, the alignment between these two, like you said, the employees are willing to go extra mile, willing to do more, because for the long-term view, we cannot expect what kind of job, what kind of specific task can be. So the willingness to do the totally different or the whole new task is very important, and it's the case when the company will place a strong emphasis on the person organization fit over the person job fit, given that the job content is dynamic and cannot predict exactly in the future for a long-term view. Okay, so Mr. Emmanuel, have you fixed your mic and anything to add more before we go to the next point?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can hear now.
Okay, thank you. So I was saying, just like a product manager, there are companies that are product-led. There's what we call product-led organization, product-led. So what the focus majorly on is understanding the user pain points and then satisfying their users, as well as meeting their goals, and then doing what suitable for your stakeholders. So with respect to prioritizing a person organization fit or a person job fit, it's very common to startups, companies that are just on long-term organization culture. So I wouldn't want somebody who would just be just qualified, but somebody who is open to challenges, somebody who is open to learning new things. And then any company that wants to prioritize personal is not a company that would accept short-term goals. It's for companies that would want to build a brand over years and then meet up with their long-term goals. So prioritizing person organization helps employee retention. It helps overall success of the company, because as an if I'm to be or recruit, I would hire talents who I would build with over time, who understand of what we are doing, who leverage and not.
I cannot hear you now. Okay. Maybe next time you can fix your mic and check the connection, Mr. Emmanuel. But I got I got your idea from the beginning. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. You had mentioned that maybe the person organization fit is suitable with startup, where the organization structure may be flat and the job task is very dynamic. Yes, correctly. And there are so many aspects or the company can consider to emphasize which criteria to focus the person job fit and the person organization fit. So the figure on the screen outline when to emphasize the person job fit versus the person organization fit. So the decision to focus on either fit depends on several internal factors, including organizational culture, the structure, the performance management system, the strategies, like the long-term or short-term views that Mr. Samuel and Mr. Emmanuel has mentioned already, the nature of the job and its specification. So you can refer to this detailed description at home, okay? So when it comes to the selection process, the selection procedures differ between enterprises and influenced by several factors, including the company objective, culture, size, industry type, geographic location, labor market, and job level. So these elements affect the type, order, and the numbers of steps in the selection process. So the process shown on the slide represents a traditional full-scale selection method, but it's important to note that some steps might be skipped or additional ones added depending on a company HR policy and resources. So the first step, the reception of applicant, is crucial as it forms the candidate first impression on the company. Any disinterest or inefficiency can deter strong candidate and harm the employer branding. Secondly, the preliminary interview or initial screening is often brief, focusing on specific job requirements like language skill or task willingness. It should be conducted courteously and without discrimination. So in case with many applicants, this step can be done by phone. The third step, the application form, serves as the primary source of employment information used in subsequent steps to screen out unqualified candidates. Now let's take a closer look at one of the two most critical steps, test. So if a candidate shows no disqualifying factors, they move on to testing. The choice between test and interviews depends on factors like company policy, job type, course, and candidate qualifications. Research shows that the test perceived as job-related enhance a company attractiveness to job applicant. So there are some tests that you can see from the slide. Firstly, the employment tests are designed to assess the match between an applicant and job requirement. Since the tests are job-related, they are usually accurate and objective predictors of specific skill needed for the job. Various types of employment tests include work samples and simulation, management assessment centers, or situational and video-based situational testing, or miniature job training and evaluation. The interest test measure how closely an applicant's interests align with successful people in a particular job. The underlying assumption is that applicants will perform better in the job they enjoy. Common interests that include Holland vocational preference inventory. Next one, aptitude test. It measures special ability required for specific jobs, such as mechanical, clerical, linguistic, musical, artistic skill, as well as manual dexterity reaction time or hand-eye coordination. So the aptitude tests predict an applicant potential for a particular job. For example, you can see the picture, the Minnesota paper and form board evaluate spatial visualization of the candidate. The next one, physical test, assess physical attributes like strength or endurance. Physical tests ensure that the candidate can safely perform the task without being susceptible to injuries. The next one, intelligence test, measure an applicant IQ by assessing the ability to reason with numbers, words, and concepts. So intelligence tests are strong predictor of job performance, especially in roles involving conceptual thinking and problem solving. The personality test assess aspects of an applicant personality, such as introversion, extroversion, emotional stability, and motivation. So the personality test can be controversial, and their effectiveness often depends on various factors. Okay, so I think that we can take a break of 15 minutes now, and please come back at 10 to 4, okay? 15-minute break, and we have the remaining case study for the interview section. Thank you so much, and see you after the break. Okay, so welcome back. Okay, so next step of the selection process after completing a test is the interview. The employment interview is the most commonly used selection technique. So it is a conversation between the interviewer and the job applicant aimed at making hiring decision. So it's very common, yeah. So if we want to apply for the specific job, maybe we are not required to take the test, but the interview is compulsory, it's a must-have. Okay, so I want to ask for your previous experience. So have you ever conducted an interview? Imagine that you assume the role as an interviewer. So what interview characteristic do you believe we should be mindful or prepare in advance before joining the interview section? What is your opinion, Mr. Danny? Imagine that you are an interviewer. So what kind of preparation you need to make before joining the interview section? Yes.
So imagine I'm the interviewer.
Yeah, imagine that you are an interviewer. What kind of preparation you should make in advance before joining the interview session?
So I can say, first of all, at least I need to know the kind of people I'm about to interview them. Definitely I'll have their files on my desk before the interview starts so that I can know how to ask them about their strengths and their weaknesses concerning the job they are applying for. And also need to also pay close attention to whatever detail they give during the interview so that at least at the end of the interview I can be able to make a good decision on picking the right person for the job.
Okay, so thank you so much for your opinion. So you should learn about the people you will talk to in the interview, and you should prepare a list of questions so you can analyze the information related to them and to be able to make a good decision, the good hiring decision. Good point. Thank you so much, Mr. Danny. Okay. Yeah. And yeah. Mr. Emmanuel, I could first get clarity about the main reason for the interview and the quality the company is looking out for. Yeah, good point. The main reason for the interview. Could you please elaborate on that? I hope that your mic is working properly. I hope that.
Yeah, actually, it's from my Can you hear me?
The same situation. Very clear at the beginning.
Oga, we know they hear you. Go and fix your mic or you change location.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
We cannot hear you.
Actually, you should be hearing me now. Eh?
We are not hearing you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for reminding me. Okay, so Mr. Emmanuel, please share your ideas. I will try my best to listen to you. I hope that your mic work properly.
I pray so. All right, so for me to, as an interviewer, I would first get clarity about the reason for the interview. If there are key qualities that the company is looking out for, I would also want to know that. So I would know what I'm expecting, or I should be expecting from the applicant or the person who I'm to interview. Also, I would tailor down my questions for the person to be interviewed alongside the expectation of the company so that my questions would align with the feedback or output or reason for the interview. Yeah, so those are the key things. The first things, for clarity's sake, those are the first things I would be mindful of before any other thing would follow. Then also, I would make sure I ask questions based on the information derived from the questions, from the tests or survey or questionnaire that they filled during the assessment stage. So I'll be asking questions based on the feedback to assess their integrity and honesty.
Oh, assessing the integrity and honesty. Yeah, it's not easy for that kind of assessment. Yeah, from your experience, how can you make a correct evaluation on this aspect? What kind? What some factors or aspect that you can base on it to evaluate the honesty and the integrity of the candidate?
All right. First of all, I will do what I call profiling. Profiling has to do with maybe a background check to ascertain their claims, because some people have different CVs for a particular role, and also going to their LinkedIn profile to assess their claims. I will leverage on those information to ask them questions. So those would be my user metrics for assessment.
Actually, I really love the way you use the reason as the starting point for preparing for the interview. Yes, the alignment between the questions and your own expectation, the reason of the interview is essential. And some interviewers make this mistake. They ask questions, anything that they can think of, but the relatedness, the connection between the question and the purpose, the goal of the interview do not show the good match. And it may be time consuming to conduct such the interview like that. So the reason, the alignment between the question and the reason of the interview is essential. And thank you for raising that very interesting point, Mr. Emmanuel. And Mr. Samuel, I see that you raised your hand. Anything to add? Hello? Hello, Mr. Emmanuel.
Okay.
Samuel, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please share.
Sorry, I didn't know I have no mute. So if I am an interviewer,
yeah.
First thing I will look into why conducting or before conducting an interview. First, I'll get to know the applicant first.
Okay.
I will have his or her CV on my desk.
Okay.
I will check his profiles.
Okay.
Or the LinkedIn, all the social media handles that I see in the CV.
Okay.
Then I will check the job experience, if he or she has experience or not.
Okay.
That will help me. Okay, another one is I will check the gap to be filled in the company or the organization. I will check the department where we are filling in an employee or a labor force. That will help me to tailor my question based on the vacancy and the profile of the candidates. The purpose of the interview, because there's always a purpose for every interview. We are recruiting we are recruiting in the marketing department or the operations. So, and when I look into the experience of the candidate, I will see that this person has experience in marketing, this person has experience in operation. So how many years of experience?
Okay.
Then I will now tell her a question that has to go in line with that vacancy. If we employ you in this role, what are you going to bring? What are the impacts you will create? What difference will you make that others have not done? I will just tailor questions that goes in line with the gap to be filled in that department. And lastly, I will do a background check. You know, every interview has time. There's a time management factor in it. So you won't have all the time to ask all the questions, but you have to tailor your question based on the vacancy you want to fill and based
Yeah.
on the profiling and objective of the person's CV. If what the CV is saying is what he can defend.
Okay.
I
Good
saw in
point.
your CV that this is what is there. So tell me more about this. Because some people will just cook up a CV that will suit the interviewer and them not defending it. So I will ask questions that will ignite some fire for me to know if this person is the owner of this CV, if this profile in the CV rightfully belongs to you. From there, I can be making my assessment. So that's one thing I would think of.
Okay. So another good point here. You mentioned that you allocate time and tailor your question based on the vacancy and also the candidate you interview. Yeah. The adjustment is very important. Although that we have already prepared a set up interview question, some follow-up question and some additional quiz may be needed to deep dive and to understand more deeply in the various aspects of the candidate. So thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for your sharing. And Ms. Tin Lang, anything to add from your perspective?
For me, I don't have experience, but I think according to the qualification, we don't need to ask too much about qualification. For example, when you finish language, you know as much as you learn. So we need to ask personality and also about the company, which position do you want to work, and also the company can which kind of things that the company can support you. So, and also what do you expect from the company? I would like to ask sometimes those questions, and also I will be open-minded to the interviewee, because sometimes some applicants may be worried or exhausted about the interview. So as an interviewer, I may be open-minded and generous to ask question that the kind of job, whether that kind of job suit for him or her. Yeah, I think.
Okay. So have you ever participated in any interview before?
Yeah, I try only one interview.
Yeah, really? So
Yeah.
tell me about that experience. Was it good or was it bad experience?
At the time, honestly, I don't want to work because I like study, only study. So at the time, my parents pushed me to answer that interview, so I tried it. The interviewer is really generous for me, but that position is I think it's for me really risks. I don't take at that time I don't want to take risks about that position. Salary is higher. As the what I mean is that the higher salary can get the higher risks. So at the time I'm decided not to work.
Okay, so yeah, but I think that the experience that you gain from that interview can be valuable from your upcoming application process in the future. And I believe that in the future interview you will be able to show off your ability more effectively and make a good impression on the interviewers. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much for all of your perspective. Now from the class that we have a variety of perspective in how we can prepare in advance for the interview. So now I would like to summarize into a cohesive conclusion. So to ensure an effective interview, 3 main factors should be prepared in advance. Firstly, the interview structure. Determine how structured or unstructured the interview will be. Secondly, the interview content. Decide on what type of the question to ask, considering the characteristic of the position and the applicant profile. And thirdly, interview administration. Determine how the interview will be conducted, such as one-on-one, panel, or committee interview, to benefit both the interviewer and the interviewee. Now, speaking of the first element, the interview structure. The interview structure vary in how much they are planned and organized. So we have the unstructured interview that have no set format. While a few questions may be prepared, there are no strict guidelines for evaluating responses. Typical questions might include like, tell me about yourself. Why do you think you would be a good fit for this vacancy? Or what are your weaknesses and strong points, for example? On the other hand, the structured interviews follow a predetermined list of questions, often with weighted answers based on job analysis. This standardized approach ensures all relevant information is covered consistently across all candidates. Okay. So my question is that, now, what are the advantages that the structured interview bring over the unstructured one? The structured interview consists of a predetermined list of questions and follow the strict guidelines. So what are the advantages that this kind of interview can bring to the interviewers? So what is your opinion, Ms. Olajolo?
Sorry, please, can you repeat the question?
Yes, the question is on the screen.
Oh, sorry, please, a minute. Okay, so I feel like it brings clarity to both the interviewer and the interviewee, because you already know what you want and you're going straight to the point instead of just moving around the bush. You already like know the quality of the employees you want over in the company, basically.
Is it okay with you, Miss Olajolo?
Yes, please.
Okay, got your point. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Sino, anything to add from Miss Olajolo opinion? Mr. Sino, can you hear me well? Okay. So Mr. Skid, what is your opinion for that question?
Hello.
Okay, got it. Please go ahead.
Wait a second. I need to.
Yes.
It's like everything you need to do, everything you need to do is like need to a planning for your what you're doing. So, there's in my as I am an interviewer, so I need to prepare some question for the interviews. So if I don't have any question for the interview, so not prepare, not have a like a structure for what I asked. So what I asked and what I need to know about from the interviewer. So like if I don't prepare, and I don't have a structure for the interviews, like that's at the time I have trouble with what should I need to know from employee, and what should I hears from like to I think if we don't prepare a structure like like that way, we have very trouble with this that time. Like this. Hello?
I'm still listening to you. Yeah. Just
Yeah, you can hear me, or what something have trouble with my voice.
yeah. Actually, the structure interview consists of the predetermined list of questions. And as the interviewer, you will follow the set up guideline, the guideline for conducting the interview from the beginning to an end. It's already set and guideline. So from your experience, following the predetermined guideline and the strict set of question, what are the advantages that this can bring to an interviewer?
I think is interviewer can get more what you need to do and what you ask the interview. What should I need to do and what should I need to ask? Like that way.
Okay, so maybe following that guideline, you will be well aware of what kind of question you need to ask and what step you need to conduct. Okay.
Yeah, like that way. So if I don't have a judgment, I have a trouble with something like blah blah.
Okay. So thank you so much, Mr. Skid. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So Mr. Chibuzo Emmanuel, please share your ideas.
Hello. In my own perspective, I think a structured interview presents some advantages. It's less time consuming.
Less time consuming.
It's less time consuming. It helps streamline the interview questions. Like it helps the interviewer not to derail and to not to go off topic and off point. It helps him have concise and precise questions and guide, like it helps streamlines everything to a particular direction. And I also think it's more suitable when you are interviewing large number of persons. When you are interviewing a large number of persons, it helps make things a bit easier and faster.
Easy.
And I think it's also much more suitable for entry-level roles. When you are interviewing a much more senior or mid-level persons, I don't think structured interview comes to play, because there are dynamics and some questions that some nuances that might not be captured in a structured interview. So yeah, I think it comes into play in certain instances and scenarios. It works well there, and also won't work well in certain. I think it also depends on the role and the nature of the role you are interviewing for. Some roles might want you to get to have an in-depth discussion and to ask in-depth questions to get to know the interviewee in a much more broader sense. You need to get their answers and their experiences in a much more broader perspective. So structured interview might not give you a broad perspective of the interview and a broad nuance and perspective of the answers to questions. So I think it's much more suitable for simple and entry-level roles, and where much more nuances and conversations are not needed.
Okay, so thank you so much for your sharing. I really love the way that you connect the benefit that the structured interview can bring to the inexperienced interviewer compared to the more senior one. Thank you so much for your sharing. And Mr. Elias, I see that you raised your hand. So anything to add?
Yes. So I would like to share some informations that I faced before.
Yeah.
So it's really like I really saw that moment, and like, okay, I will explain a bit. So for the structure interviews, that we ensures fairness, consistency, and reliability in hiring by using like standardized questions and evaluation criteria. So this approach reduce bias, enhance legal compliance, and it will allow for objective candidate comparisons. So in academic hiring, like structure interviews help assess candidate for roles like instructor, lecturer, or department heads based on teaching methods, research experience, and leadership roles skills. Yeah. So they will scoring rubrics further improve predictive validity and ensuring that the selection of most qualifying candidates. So overall, this method promotes merit-based hiring, diversity, and professional candidate experience in colleges or universities.
Okay, thank you so much for your opinion. I really love the words consistency. Yeah, asking the same standard set of questions will enhance the consistency, as we can have the foundation to evaluate different candidates toward the requirements for each interview question. Thank you so much for your contribution, Mr. Elias.
Thank you, Ms.
Yeah, so you can see that in structured interview, all interviewers can typically ask the candidate the same set of questions. So this standardized approach, along with a specific evaluation scale, will allow for the consistency, like Mr. Elias has mentioned already, the consistency in data collection and also the comparison of candidates, leading to a more informed hiring decision. So as a result, these interviews are often more reliable, valid, and fair. A structured format can also assist less experienced interviewer in conducting effective interviews, like Mr. Chibuzo Emmanuel has mentioned already. And standardization in the structure interview can improve the job relevance, reduces bias, and strengthen the interview legal defensibility. However, on the other hand, the rigid adherence to the structure can limit the exploration of the important topics. So the interviewers are encouraged to have the flexibility to ask the follow-up question as needed to further analyze the various aspects of the candidate. Okay. The second element, the interview content. So the interviews can also be categorized by the type of question asked. So in the situational interview, the interviewers can ask the candidate how they would respond to hypothetical situation. Like when I asked you before, imagine that you are a board director or you are a CEO of the company. How can you build up and sustain the culture of the company? Like the question I asked Mr. Francis before, it's a hypothetical situation. So this question challenge a candidate to think critically about how they would handle the role's challenges, moving them off scripted responses and requiring real-time problem solving. The situational question provide the insight into both how the candidate approach specific tasks and what they prioritize or overlook. So this question typically start with, suppose you were faced with the following situation, or suppose or imagine you were that person, what would you do? Next one, the behavioral interview. The candidates are asked how they responded to real-life situation in the past. Okay, so behavioral questions often begin with, can you think of a time when, what did you do? So can you think of a time when you faced up a lot, when you had to face a lot of stress and you have to handle the stress effectively to be balanced? What did you do? So the STAR method is crucial here, where candidates explain a specific situation or task they face, the action they must take, and the result of the action. We will analyze this technique in depth together with exercise later in the session. Next one, the job-related interview. The interviewers focus on past experience directly related to the job. So instead of hypothetical or past behavior, they ask questions like, which financial courses did you enjoy most in the business school? To assess the candidate's ability to handle the job-specific task. Finally, stress interview. The interviewers deliberately make the candidate uncomfortable, sometimes asking the impolite question to evaluate their stress tolerance. So this method is used to evaluate, to identify the hypersensitive candidate who may not handle stress or criticism well. So due to its invasive and ethically questionable nature, stress interview should only be used by skilled interviewers when the job requires thick skin and high level of stress tolerance. So now you can refer to a sample interview list as presented on the slide with 4 kinds of interview and related questions. So normally, interviewers will prepare the list in advance to ensure that they gain enough information drawing from their interviewee responses. Now I have a question for you. could you explain why behavioral question, the question asking the candidate past experience, are gaining popularity and becoming more widely utilized by the interviewers compared to the situational question, asking the hypothetical situation and let the candidate imagine their reaction. So what are the reasons? So Mr. Francis, what is your opinion?
Yeah, okay. So I believe behavior is more on can see evidence. I mean you can see something like, you know, like for example, I'm asking, you know, now you found this pen on the floor, you know, what should you do? You know, I can feel his action, I can see his behavior, and it's more real to me. Although situation will also have the similar effect, but situation will put a person in a better situation where he can actually describe a story. But a behavior is really your instant reaction, like is more evidence, like meaning to say that I see a real person in this aspect of thing. Yeah.
The real person.
Yes. I mean,
Or
yeah, it's more on like for example, I can see the person EQ, I can understand the person EQ, I can understand like maybe some assessment based on the workplace, and I can see how well he adapt to it. So it's more realistic. That's what I'm trying to say. A behavior is more realistic, and and also is consistent. I'm not asking how is this person doing. I'm not asking only based on that person individual. It can be also implied to another candidate. So behavior is much, how do you say that? Is much more popular right now, I believe. I mean, that's my perspective.
yeah. Actually, the situational question involved hypothetical situation. It prompts the candidate to react to a potential scenario that have not occurred. But in contrast, the behavioral question inquire about past experiences and how the candidate handle specific situation. So, do you think of any problems when the interviewers asking the situational question to the very experienced interviewees? Are there any situation that they can make up their answers and distort their real, like their real personality, their real person from the interviewer?
Definitely, because he's experienced, right? And he's experienced and he sees more and he understands more. Definitely, he will find the right answer to that questions. So he may try to portray himself as a much better candidate to, you know, to answer to the interviewers especially. But I believe in terms of work style, like for example, behavior questions is more on your working style, like is your style. Yeah, it's very easy. It's like it's quite convincing if you ask a behavioral questions, and then you can see and then you can actually imagine what kind of person he is. And in terms of situation, is very subjective. When the interviewers ask a situational question, the interviewee may you know in a kind of situation whereby he might think different situation as well. So it's not, I would say it's not very consistent. It's not very constant and consistent. Different people will have different experience in terms of situational questions, and then it's not consistent. I would say that, you know, you don't get one set of answer that I can determine A or B is much better, or A excel in this question and B don't excel in this question. It's very difficult. But for behavior, I believe that, you know, it's evidence based. It's definitely close evidence based, and it's easier to predict for this person whether he fit the job as well. You are mute.
Okay, so thank you so much for your sharing. Actually, evaluating correctly the candidate ability is always the main purpose of any interviewers. And we have to use the various kind of technique to distinguish between the sincere answer and the answers designed to satisfy the interviewers. I think that you can get my point.
Yes.
And utilizing the behavioral questions and look for the consistency from the from the interviewers from the interviewee responses can be a good starting point. But can you think of any other technique if you are an interviewer to evaluate the candidate ability correctly without neglecting some make-up answer from themselves?
Okay, I think then real life situation will be a better assessment on that. I will probably, in terms of project management perspective, like doing a project, I will give him a task. In interviewing, I will show him a task, because that's something I did before and I saw people doing before. So I will, portray him with a task, and then I will see how he explain about doing this task. And there I will see this person, whether is he a thorough person, whether he follow through throughout, whether he's he's able to work under stress, that kind of thing, based on these task questions. And I also want to see how his thought process, top-down process, and throughout a 360-degree, whether he cover all the project aspects of things. So I think a task framework or questions that to ask this candidate will definitely be much better to understand whether this person, whether is he saying a true thing, or whether he just basically only based theory where he find in textbook. It's very fast. You can actually pick it up whether this person is theory based or task based, or based on experience. He shared, okay, this is the person that, yeah, he has his experience. When he shared that, oh, I have faced with customer, and the customers came back to say that there's a variance change in scope, that kind of thing. And then I couldn't solve this change in scope because it affect the company revenue, because the profit will not be the same anymore. So I want to see how how you bring it up, how to manage the stakeholder, because all these are real life situation. Then I mean his experience, and I can see whether is he telling the truth or not. So but this is also very subjective. You are interviewing someone who has no experience.
Yeah.
Then you got to see whether is he how to say it, is he resourceful, is he studying, how much he know about our company, or when I'm interviewing him, how much he know about my company, whether, for example, my company is a KPMG, something like that, what kind of audit that we have done before. And then he should, based on this aspect of things in the internet, or by questioning, by asking around, then he can bring it up. So I think most important thing is like giving him a task. I can see whether this person always prepared or whether he's not prepared. When he show interest, it is a very first step to the whole full interview, whether I want this guy or don't want this guy. If you are not prepared, means you are not interested. If you are prepared, means you are interested. That means you pass my very first assessment score, and then I can move forward with you without any bias. I think that's what I want to portray.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's interesting to see that you have an experience when interviewing the candidate, and thank you so much for your valuable contribution. Your experience is really appreciated. Thank you. Yeah. Mr. Samuel, just to type cultural fit. So could you please explain more specifically on your opinion?
Okay, thank you for the question. The reason why I typed cultural fit is because when asking behavioral questions, it will help you to have access to assess the cultural fit of a candidate, to know their past experience, how they were able to solve relative issues, or their relationship between line staff or co-employees. That will give you a stepping stone to know the kind of person he or she is. Because in the workspace, every activity is just like a normal life activity where you meet different kinds of persons, both clients and your colleagues as well. So you have to know his behavior towards the client, his behavior towards the colleague. And again, you will get to understand if his behavior is aligned with the organizational culture, the alignment of the organizational culture, because it speaks a lot. If your employee doesn't have approach, it speaks a lot in the firm. It can either make or mar your organization. When you have someone that doesn't have good human relationship or doesn't have good humor, it will affect the workflow. When you don't have good relationship with your co-staff or your colleague, the workflow is stunted. It cannot grow. The organization cannot grow. And also the reason for asking behavioral question is because it is very hard to fabricate information that are not true about yourself. Because when you are into face-to-face conversation and somebody asks you about your behavior, your experiences, you will not carry water in your mouth. You will say exactly everything that is coming out from your mouth is the real thing. You cannot fabricate information. You cannot tell lie. At the point of you telling lie, the interviewer will know that this person is trying to cook something. You can cook something in your CV, but you cannot cook anything when you are being asked a behavioral questions. I can use myself for an instance. During my first job interview, I was asked this question: what is your weakness? What is your weakness? And the answer I gave to that question is not seeing a colleague being maltreated. Not seeing a colleague being maltreated. So I related it to good human relationship. Because I have passion, I am empathy, I have feelings for one another. For me to maintain a very good workplace, I have to be in good relationship with my colleague. I cannot stand to see my colleague being maltreated.
Yeah.
So these are kind of behavioral questions for me in the past, or what I will bring into the organization to maintain good working relationship. Problem solving, good decision making, these are the things I will bring. So asking behavioral questions will help you to get the real information about the candidate. He or she cannot fabricate. Now it will give the candidate room for self-reflection, what he or she can do, or what he or she is up to or will put up in the long run if being hired. It will help you to identify if this candidate is someone that is biased, someone that is peeping, or someone that drops a lot in conversation, or a gossip, so that you know the right or the kind of employee or candidate you are bringing in to fill a space in your company. Self-reflection has this edge in present interview questions, sorry, rather. So this is my take on these behavioral questions. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for sharing your experience in the first job interview. It's really interesting to see that how you can respond to the question effectively. Thank you so much. Well, from the sharing of our classmates, you can see that behavioral questions are gaining popularity over situational questions. And there's some key reasons explaining that. Firstly, more accurate prediction. This is because behavioral interviews are believed to better predict a candidate's future performance by examining how a person handles bad situations. The interviewers can evaluate their reasoning, decision-making process, and what motivated them. Many believe that past behavior is the best indicator of future action, making this approach more reliable than hypothetical scenarios. Secondly, more genuine responses. Situational question allows the candidate to craft an ideal response based on theoretical knowledge, but this doesn't always reflect their practical abilities. In contrast, the behavioral question require the candidate to discuss a real-life experience, offering a clearer picture of how they have applied their skill and handle the challenges in practice. And finally, the enhanced objectivity. So focusing on the specific behaviors and action will contribute to reduce the interviewer's bias, since the emphasis is on how the candidate responded to actual situation. Factors like gender, ethnicity, or age are less likely to influence the judgment of the interviewers. So this makes the behavioral question a fairer, more objective way to evaluate performance and minimizing the inaccurate perception based on the mere qualification. For example, instead of asking if a candidate would enjoy handling difficult customer, a behavioral question like, tell me about the time you dealt with an angry customer and how you handle the situation, offers a more concrete assessment of problem-solving abilities. So in our class, while we don't have time to cover every details of the interview skill, I like to emphasize the STAR method, a crucial technique for interviewing the behavioral interview question. The STAR method helps the interviewers gather structure, real-life example to better understand a candidate ability beyond their resume. So STAR stands for first, S, situation. Ask the candidate to describe a specific situation they face. T stands for task. What goals or tasks were they working towards? A for action. Have the candidate explain the action they took to handle the situation and achieve the goal. And finally, result. Ask them to explain the outcome of the action and what they have learned from that experience. So in a STAR interview, the candidate response should cover all 4 elements, providing clear and concise example. So this approach benefits both recruiters and the candidate when the recruiters can get the evidence-based answer and the candidate can avoid giving a very generic responses. So I give you some note or some tip for formulating the STAR question as being an interviewer. Firstly, you need to consider the common challenges that the candidate might face in the role. Based on that, you identify the key skills like teamwork or problem solving that are critical for success when assuming that role. Then you frame, you craft, or you design a question starting with, tell me about the time when you, or give me an example of a situation where you. For example, tell me about a time you made a mistake at work. How did you resolve it? Or give me an example of a conflict with a teammate. Were you able to resolve it? And if yes, in what way? So using the STAR method ensure more informative structured answer, and it help both recruiter and candidate navigate the interview process more effectively. So I have just a very simple exercise for you to get familiar with the STAR model of answering the behavioral question. So you will listen to an excerpt from Miss Vicky interview, and what I love you to do is to evaluate whether Vicky respond cover all components of the STAR models, including situation, target, action, and result. Okay?
5.6. As you know, the position here at Clyde & Johnson's requires somebody with strong communication and organizational skills. Could you tell us about a time when you had to use these skills at work?
Yes, of course. At the moment, I spend a lot of time traveling between Asia and Europe, working with regional teams, organizing educational events. So I use both of these skills on a regular basis. Let me give you an example. As you know, the Chinese market is growing in all areas, including pharmaceuticals. However, at the time, Green Pharmaceuticals felt that they didn't have enough contacts in China. It was clear that the situation wasn't very good for us. We needed to improve things. So in order to increase our number of contacts in China, I decided to organize a pharmaceutical conference in Beijing. It was my responsibility to ensure that all the right people were invited. I really had to use all my skills at communicating in both English and Mandarin to persuade people to participate. In the end, my hard work resulted in a successful conference with our employees meeting and talking to the right people. As a matter of fact, this conference was such a success that it is now an annual event and has led directly to closer professional relationships between Green Pharmaceuticals and key contacts in China.
Okay, so this is the Vicky response to the behavioral question from the interviewer. So from your opinion, does Vicky responses cover all components of the STAR model? What do you think, Mr. Danny? Do you think that Vicky has covered all of the 4 components of the STAR model to deal with the behavioral question?
Listening to the audio, I heard her identifying the problem that the pharmaceutical company was facing, and she made a task of organizing a conference, and pulling all the right people into the conference. And at the end of the conference, the result that she had was able to was good, that it gave numbers to her company. So to me, I think at least she used the STAR situation. She used the STAR technique very well to improve results in whatever she had to do for her company.
Yes, thank you so much for your sharing. As you can see, the interview response we reveal is an example from an ideal candidate who effectively incorporates all 4 components of the STAR models. However, in reality, not all candidates provide such complete answers. So in that case, the follow-up questions from the interviewer are crucial when the candidate skips some of the elements of the STAR model. For example, if a candidate jumps straight to explaining the action, the recruiters can ask for the context or the goal. Or when the candidate fails to mention the outcome, the interviewers can prompt them to explain the result or the consequences that they receive when taking the specific course of action. So the STAR model can be a very useful method for both the interviewers and the interviewee to deal with the interview effectively, to provide informative information and to provide the informative answers and show off the experience as well as the skill to deal with the specific situation in the past. So the employers conduct interviews using various methods like one-on-one interview, panel interview, phone interview, video interview, computerized job interview, when the candidate provide oral or typed answer to question presented by a computer, or either visually or audibly. So in a unstructured sequential interview, the interviewers will ask questions spontaneously with no set format. But in the structured sequential interview, the interviewers ask the standardized question and rate the candidate on a standard form. The hiring managers will review the combined rating before making a hiring decision. So the next step in the selection process is background investigation, where employers verify the applicant information and references. The purpose of this step is to confirm the accuracy of the applicant details and review any potential issues, as it's not uncommon for a candidate to provide false information. Employers may use various sources to gather information such as past employers, current supervisor, or professional references. However, it is suggested that the HR professional must be courteous, must be careful of legal risk, especially regarding the EEO, the Equal Employment Opportunity, or privacy claims, and take steps to avoid them during the investigation process. So the final step in the selection process involves line managers, often collaborating with HR, making the decision to either hire or reject a candidate. So there are two primary decision-making approaches you can see from the slide. The first one, the compensatory approach. So in this method, the manager reviews all selection data, both positive and negative, to form an overall assessment of the applicant. This approach generally leads to more accurate hiring decisions by considering the candidate holistically. The second approach, called successive hurdle. In this approach, the candidate must pass through a series of steps. If they fail at any point, they are removed from the process. So this method is particularly useful when certain competencies are critical, or when there is a need to narrow down a large group of applicants, making it both efficient and cost-effective. So next come to the medical examination, typically conducted by a doctor to assess the candidate's physical condition. This ensures that the applicants are not placed in jobs that they are physically unfit for. Okay, and after covering all of the step previously, the final step will be the placement of the job, when the candidate receive an offer letter from the company and officially assume the role they apply for. So, as you may aware, the data has become crucial for developing and implementing effective talent acquisition strategies. The talent acquisition analytic now plays a key role, providing vital insight for informed decision-making, strategic planning, and improving overall TA effort. Like in the morning, I remember that Mr. Francis had mentioned about the data-driven decision-making process in the HR. That data is very important, and that's the reason why the talent acquisition analytic is now appreciated more, and the HR professional spend more time and effort leveraging the technology to analyze the diverse recruitment data, uncovering trend and insight. So this step include evaluating the effectiveness of sourcing channels, result from candidate experience survey, and tracking the duration of each step in the hiring process. As you can see from the slide, is the sample of the dashboard, including some key metrics for the talent acquisition analytic. So the metrics are typically tracked using the applicant tracking system or the simple Excel sheet or any dashboard like the one shown in the slide. However, these analytics are only valuable if the team, the talent acquisition team, understand which data points and metrics to collect, why they are important, and how to interpret them. By using the data-driven insight, the HR team can make the evidence-based or the data-driven recruitment decision, paving the way to improve the candidate experience, making a better hire, and aligning with the company overall goals. And measuring effectiveness of any HR activities is a long way to go. We need to we need to receive the joint effort between the HR and other department, other stakeholder, to ensure that the evaluation is practical and the data we receive from the evaluation is useful for the improvement effort in the future. So it's the end of our second section, focusing on the acquire, the phase, like we have go through the HR planning, we go through the job analysis, we analyze the various aspects of the talent acquisition, from recruitment to selection to placement. A lot of information from this learning section, but I hope that things or any information I convey in the class will help you as an interviewer in the future handle the interview more effectively, and you get the big pictures of the talent acquisition process and how to utilize it to make effective and correct the hiring decision. So thank you so much for your effort, for your enthusiastic contribution, and also for your question in this lesson. So I hope that you will continue this energy in the following class, and I wish you a nice weekend and see you next week. Thank you so much.
All right,
And
you too. You too. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Cynthia. Have a nice weekend.
thank you and have a nice weekend. See you next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the class again
Elias.
next week? Right.
Yeah, nice weekend on. Thank you so much and see you soon.
Xin chào.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
No, it should be tạm biệt.
Tạm biệt. Okay.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay.
Yeah, goodbye. See you soon.